With my ex-wife, a covert narcissist, 100%er, and this is not just with covert, this is with all sorts of narcissists. Anyway, with my ex-wife, I used to have to speak to her as an adult, but as though she was a child. And it was very difficult because there is no way to communicate to them as far as correcting their absurd behavior without them saying, I'm not a child. And they would say it as though they were a child or they are a child. With my ex wife, I would explain to her as far as, okay, if something happens bad and it makes you angry, and there's a reason to be angry at this thing, then that's when it makes sense to act out with anger. You do not act out in an absolute vile, despicable, vicious rage at normal everyday things while communicating. You don't always just blow up. If you see someone on the phone talking, or if some interaction happens and it's a healthy or even normal interaction that is part of existing, you do not blow up and start lashing, spitting out rageful, mean, disgusting comments as though there's something bad about it or there's something or a reason to be angry. Another thing is, even if you are angry, you got to think, oh, I am angry for no reason, and I'm lashing out in public in front of people, screaming and yelling like a child, angry about something that there's no possible way to be angry about. Maybe I should think about the way I look and not act out like this in front of people. And this became a conversation I was having with her 3 or 4 times a day. And it would result in her saying, "Wow, do you have any idea how condescending you sound?" I'd be like, "Okay, see what you just did? See how you just heard? Oh, that's a problem. I should stop doing that. It's better for me to stop doing that. It's really bad if I continue doing that." He just pointed that out. I'm going to respond with that, doing the same thing I now know I should not do and not feel embarrassment. You don't see how that's a problem? She would stop and look around like a daze and say, "Wow, you don't see how condescending that was?" I'm like, "See how you did it again, Levon? See how it's a repeated thing, how you're not able to get out of it? You're like, oh, because I'm attacking you and going after you and you're being kind and I see what I'm doing is wrong. Wow, that's so condescending of you. Don't you feel sorry for me?" I was like, and I told her, I said, "See how you keep doing that?" And she stopped for a moment and said, "Wow, see how condescending that is?" She did it again. It's as though she would knew what I was saying, would be offended at being the one in the wrong and needing correction, and then have to jump to her being a victim because what I was saying was somehow condescending about her condescension towards everything and blowing up. So this was just constant. Another conversation that I'd have with her, and this is how I would say it. Are you ready? Are you ready? This is how I would say it. Levon, if you go after someone and they are nice to you, and you're like, they're nice to me and I'm being mean to them and they're still being nice, and you're attacking them and you're being vicious to them and you're being vile and you're just with everything you can and they're still being nice to you, you cannot go off and say, hey, because I did this to this person and I did all this vicious stuff and they did not do anything harmful back to me means I'm a victim. You should fucking hate them because they're so nice and I'm so evil to them. I'm the victim. Do you see that that does not make sense? Because you're understanding you're in the wrong, you're doing it wrong, saying I'm doing this bad thing in the wrong, this bad, but I'm not bad because I did this bad thing because it's me. That's not normal, Levon. I'd say it like that. I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed with her constantly going after people and then saying, wow, this person was just minding their own business and I attacked them and they were polite and I attacked them again. And they were polite and they wouldn't get angry, so I attacked them again. And I said this terrible thing and they said, please stop trying to do that to me. It's not going to work. Can you believe that? What a fucking asshole. Like, What the fuck did you just say? And again, that became a normal thing for years. I dealt with her talking about how terrible other people were. Daily, this happened on the internet. She constantly told me about people she attacked on online or in person or over the phone and how terrible they were for not responding back with anger. I do not understand how that's even possible, but it happened. And she genuinely wanted sympathy and for me to feel sorry for her because she was a victim for attacking someone else and they refused to retaliate. What's weird with covert narcissism, and this is going to be kind of violent, but I heard someone later on say something very similar. A, a covert narcissist is like someone who's progressively becoming more and more angry at you because they're getting intimidated by your kindness and threatened by your abilities. That each time they go after you and you don't blow up at them or you don't even retaliate with any anger toward them, they become more violent until they attack you with a hammer. And then at the end, they cry about how because you had blood in your body means that you got blood all over their precious hammer that's so sentimental and means so much to them because the memory is tied with that hammer, and they will have no memories tied to that hammer, whether it was given to them by someone they did not like or whether they bought it from Home Depot that day. Something about buying that hammer resonated with them and created this very deep sensation, and it's your fault that there's blood on that hammer now that they attacked you with. I heard someone else say it in a much simpler way, as far as a covert narcissist will throw a rock at you, injure you, and then want sympathy because you um, scratched or broke or something their favorite rock. I was like, that's a pretty simple way of doing it, or of putting that, yeah. Anyway, that's all. Bye.